All right, well, I think I am live. So, welcome to Pinker Than Pilates here this rainy Wednesday. Hopefully yes, somebody is there, so I am definitely live. Awesome. All right. So, I just wanted to welcome everybody. If I've got a good view of the comment screen from my home setup today. So if you have anything going on or there's anything that you specifically want to work on, feel free to send me a message in the chat and I will take a look at that. So without further ado, if you are ready to join me, grab a pillow. We're going to do just kind of a little bit of a gentle Pilates flow, focusing on stretching your upper back and upper body and just getting moving today. So let's take your pillow to start and take it around and kind of tuck it right underneath your shoulders so that the part of the pillow that pushes down is sort of right underneath your scapulas. Also known as your shoulder blades. Let's just let that head rest there. And just while we're waiting to see if anybody else joins us, let's just take a little scan of our body here. So don't mind me as I close my eyes. I've got a bright light over top of me so that you could see what I'm doing. So just take a nice big inhale and then exhale that back out. Just thinking about filling up your lungs east and west as you can kind of feel them on the ground of the mat underneath you. And as you do that, just thinking about moving right and left with those lungs, feeling those lungs expand and then exhaling them out. And if you've got your hands on your ribs, thinking about trying to get a little bit more air further down into those lungs, really taking advantage of being able to breathe into the back side of your body. And one more nice big deep breath in. And as you exhale that out, beginning to scan your body. Do you feel any areas of tightness or tension? Are there shoulders tight? Are your hips tight? Are you feeling a little bit of stiffness in those knees or ankles? What needs to really move today? And then let's just let those hands rest down at your side for now. And we're going to sort of move different parts of your body as we get everything warmed up. So let's take a nice big inhale. Exhale, slide your tailbone away. So you feel that low back drop into your mat and your sort of hips have tucked. And then inhale, release that out. And just taking whatever range of motion your body will give you here. And then maybe seeing if you can find a few more inches in your low back, sliding that away, arching a little bit further, and then taking that to each extreme one last time, and then coming back in and just letting that land in a neutral sign. So you pop those hands onto your hip bones, they feel parallel to the mat. If you take those hands around to that last rib, it's engaged with that mat. And then let's float those arms straight up into the air. And then from here, let's reach those fingertips to the sky. Feel those shoulder blades come apart. And then exhale, take those shoulder blades down into that pillow. Inhale, reach those fingertips up to the sky. Exhale, take them down. If you're at home and you have a foam roller, everything that we've done feels even nicer on a foam roller. The pillow just gives your head some nice support. So we're protracting and retracting our shoulder blades as we're here. And as those fingertips reach up, think about then landing with that wide collarbone. And then taking those arms up to the sky and then exhaling them down. One more of those, reaching up. And then taking them down here, landing here. And then let's go to a little bit of arm scissors. So let's take one arm high, and then one arm low, and then switch them. rotating one arm and then your other arm. One more of those. And then bring that back to the now. Let's do one more thing here before we move on to something else. So let's let those arms come open and then bring them back together as we hug a tree. Inhaling them open, exhaling them closed. Inhaling open, exhaling closed. One more of those. Inhaling open, exhaling close. And then let's inhale open and then exhale, let those arms cross over, taking note of what arm ended up high, and then inhaling them open, exhaling them closed. Inhaling open, exhaling closed. One last time with each arm. So I have my right arm on top and then my left arm on top. And let those hands come down to your sides. So let's go to some leg slides here. So I'm going to take that right leg and slide it out long, reaching as long across the room as you can, and pull that back in. And then the left leg goes out long. Exhale and pull that back in. Right leg out long. Exhale and pull that back in. Sliding that left leg out. Finding space in that body and back in. One more of those. Out and back in. And your other side, so we're even. And back. We're going to create a little oppositional pull here. So as that right leg goes long, that left arm reaches up and then it comes back down. Right arm goes up, left leg goes long. Taking that arm up to whatever level it can move. So it might stop here and then back down. This isn't about pushing through pain to get your arm all the way to the ground. It's about finding strength and stability in your movement and taking this to whatever range of motion your body will give you. One more time to each side and down, and your other side and back. And then from here, let's just return to that pelvic tilt one more time. And then come back and sort of stop somewhere where you can feel some engagement in your low back in the mat. So you're not taking it and driving your mat back into the mat as hard as you can. But you've got that tail slid away to the point where you can feel some engagement. And then what I want you to do is float one foot up to a tabletop and then put that down. And then float your other foot up to a tabletop and put that down. Trying not to have that lifting and lowering affect the positioning of your spine. So you're stabilizing through those transverse abdominals, those ones that would be right underneath your seat belt if you were in a car driving somewhere, and you're not letting those hips rock if you've got your hands on there, and you feel all of that stability helping you lift your leg. If you're up for a little bit more challenge, when the right leg comes up, let's hold it up there, and then let's bring your other leg up. And then instead of letting that foot rest down, now we're going to tap one toe as if it's being dipped into a pool of water, and then the other. And as you do that, you're thinking about not changing the bend in your knee. So as one leg goes down, the other leg stays stable, and the bend in the knee doesn't change. So all of the movement happens from your hip. One more of those, and then leave those feet up here like this, and then let's sort of point and flex those feet a little bit, just getting a little bit of range of motion there. And then if you're enjoying this extra abdominal challenge, let's leave those feet where they are. Let's take those arms up, and we're going to go in a little bit of the goalpost arm. So you're going to let those arms come down into a goalpost, and then reach them back up to the sky. And if that feels like too much to keep those legs up there, feel free to lower them down. Otherwise, just leave them where they are. One more of those. And then if you can get your arms down to a comfortable position, leave them here. And let's just test a little bit of internal and external rotation, moving through those arms. Your hands may not rotate all the way to the ground as mine do, just allowing them to move wherever they go. And if you're feeling like you need a little lower body movement at the same time, you could point and flex those feet. Let's do one more of those. And then let's bring that back. Hug those knees into you. Slide that tail away. Feel that low back drop into the mat even more. Grab a hold of your right leg. And somewhere between reaching that left leg straight up to the sky and all the way out on a 45-degree angle, we're going to switch those legs, lengthening and switching and switching, switching. And if that feels like you could take a little bit more challenge, what we're going to do when that right leg comes in this time, we're going to curl that head up and reach that leg out long and strong across the room. And if you're hearing a little popping in your hip, as I just heard from mine, really dial in, pulling those abdominals into you, and also trying not to reach quite as low. And then let's hug both knees into you, reach down to your ankles, let that head and neck rest. And then we're going to inhale out through your arms and legs, and then exhale, circle that around and in. Inhale out, exhale, circle around and in. Inhale out, exhale around and in. Inhale out, exhale around and in. Inhaling out, exhaling in. Same thing. If you feel like you've got a little bit more, curl up. And we're going to go inhaling out, exhaling in. Inhaling out, exhaling in. One more of those. Inhaling out, exhaling back in. Let that head and neck rest down. Roll your head and neck to one side and then look to the other side. Let's slide that left leg out long. Take that right leg straight up to the sky. Let's find a nice big hamstring stretch here, pulling that leg back to you, feeling that energy going down the back of that leg. And then let's leave your legs straight up into the air. And then we're going to inhale to cross over your body. Exhale, circle around and come up. Inhale to cross over. Exhale, circle around and up. Inhale to cross over. Exhale around and up. One more of those. Inhale to cross over. Exhale around and up. And then we're going to go the other way. Inhale away. Exhale around, down and up. Inhale away. Exhale around and up. Inhale away. Exhale around and up. One more of those. Inhale away. Exhale around and up. Give that knee a little squeeze into you. And then slide that leg out long. Take that leg straight up into the air. Grab a hold of that, pulling it back to you for a nice big stretch. And then let's leave that leg reaching straight up into the air. We're going to go to our leg circles here. So you're going to cross over your body, circle around, down, and come up. cross over, circle around and up, cross over, circle around and up, cross over, around and up. One more circle, cross over, around and up, and then we're going to go the other way. Down, around and up, out, around, down and up. Thinking about keeping those abdominals pulled in and making your circles this range that you can control. And if you're feeling that hip popping again, really pull those abdominals in. One more of those and keep that circle a little smaller. Give that knee a little squeeze into you for a little hug. Let's go to some scissors in the air for a nice little challenge because, you know, it's Wednesday and we should. Let that other leg fall away from you. Lift your head and neck up just a little bit. I'm going to scissor them. And scissor. And then come up. Hug those knees into you. Give them a little squeeze. And then let's take those legs straight up into the air. Inhale them down a little bit. Exhale, lift back up. Inhaling down. Exhaling up. Inhaling down. Exhaling back up. Inhaling down. Exhaling up. One more of those. Inhaling down. Exhaling up. And then give those knees a little squeeze into you. Let's roll over onto a side. If you've got your pillow at home, you can use it sort of like this to prop yourself up. You can put it, just directly underneath your head and give it a little hug. It's the option I'm going to take. If I look over my hips, my heels are directly lined up with that. And then you're going to let your top leg come up without rolling back into that hip. And then lower that down. And lift up. And lower down. Lifting up. Lowering down. Lifting up. And lowering down. Two more of those, lifting up. And lowering down. One more. Lifting up and lowering down. And then lift those feet up into the air. If you'd like a little more challenge, you could always leave them resting if that was enough for you. And you're going to lift that knee and lower. Lift it and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. One more of those. Lift and lower. And then let that rest down. And then let's, actually we're going to go a little feel-good arm circles before we roll over onto your other side. So stack your arms on top of one another, roll forward, circle that arm around, let it come open, and then bring that close, and then roll forward, circle around, open, and let that come close. One more of those, circle around, let that come open, and that closed. And then we're going to go the other way, around, open, and close. Big circle, around, open, and close. One more time, around, open, and that close. You're going to roll onto your other side. I'm going to adjust my camera just a tiny bit. And then with that arm here, finding a comfortable position, and then stack those hips, and you're going to let your top knee lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. Lift and lower. Thinking about squeezing through those glutes as you open. One more of those. And then float your feet up into the air and let that knee come open and back closed. Open and back closed. Open and back closed. Open. One more of those. And then let that come down. And let's go to our arm circle. So let those arms come on top of one another. Let that top hand roll forward a little bit. Circle around. And then that closed. And circle around. And that closed. One more of those. And then go the other way. And that closed. All right, from here, let's come up to seated for a few seated exercises. So let's let those legs come out long in front of you. Reach those hands out. Let your feet come about shoulder width apart. Find your best posture, and then tuck your chin to your chest and reach the crown of your head across the room, and then roll yourself back up nice and tall. Tuck your chin to your chest, roll yourself out, reaching, and then roll back up, lifting tall. One more of those. And then coming back up tall, you're going to bring your feet and your knees together. You're going to take one arm around and follow it behind you. And then bring that arm back to center. And then go the other way, twisting around. And then back to center. And twisting around. And back to center. Twisting. And back. Twisting. Back. One more of those. Twisting and back. And then bring that back down. If your knees bother you, you can use this pillow underneath your knees and do a little all fours work. If you need a little extra support for your wrists, you can put them on there. I'm just going to put mine right in between me because I'm going to demonstrate the full options here. So let's grab a little cat-cow stretch. So make sure you're not locking out your elbows. So if you're somebody like me who locks out your elbows, you're going to keep a little micro bend in that. And then we're going to round up through your back, looking down at your legs, and then reach yourself forward, sticking your tail out, finding as big an arch as you can, and then drawing those abdominals in, rounding up through your back, feeling your sit bones narrow, and then dropping that down, sticking your tail out, finding your sit bones go nice and wide, looking out in front of you with a nice wide collarbone. Let's do two more of those. Rounding up. If being on your wrist bothers you, you could make fists for wrists if that helps. And then bring yourself back to a flat back. Push the ground away from you, and then you're going to float one arm and leg out in front of you, and then lower that down. And then float your opposite arm, then opposite leg out in front of you, and then lift that up, and gently lower down. And lift that up and gently lower down. Right arm, left leg, and then lower that down to touch your mat, and then lift that back up. Lower that down to touch your mat, and lift that up. Down to touch your mat, back up. One more of those, down to touch your mat, and back up, and then bring that arm and leg down. Float your opposite arm and leg out. Lower down to touch your mat, and lift back up. And down to touch your mat. And lift back up, down, and up, down, and up. One more of those, down, and up, and then bring that down. Let's do a little wag the tail here. So let's stick your tail out to one side, look over your shoulder, try to look back at your bum, and then we'll go all the way around to your other side, and like that, and then around. One more of those. And then bring that back. Grab a little round and release whatever your back needs. Take those feet around in front of you. I'm going to lay back and down to grab a few things here. So let's go all the way down. This time with your traveling pillow, let's put it between your knees just to get a little energy working through there. Just reach your arms out long. And then take a nice big inhale, exhale. Slide your tail away, roll your hips up into the air, coming up into a bridge, squeezing through those glutes, squeezing into that pillow, and then roll down, and then roll up, squeezing through those glutes, lifting that hip, and then roll back and down, and then roll up, lifting, engaging those glutes, and then roll back and down. And then roll all the way up to the top. Hold your hips up here. Squeeze through those glutes. Lower them an inch or two. Lift them an inch or two. Down an inch. Up an inch. Down an inch. Up an inch. One more of those. Down an inch. Up an inch. And then roll all the way down. And then roll all the way up. This time, keep the elbow to that pillow. This time, you're going to lift your heels and then lower them. Lift them and lower them. Lift them and lower them. Lift and lower. One more of those. Lift and lower. And then roll all the way down. Let your knees windshield wiper. And then bring them back to the middle. Let's take that pillow around up behind your head. Let's do a few more things for that other body. So let's take your hands and kind of attach them underneath so your fingertips are traveling down your shoulder blades. And let's just make a few little elbow circles here. And then take those circles the other way. And then now that we gave that other body another little just stretching, let's slip those hands back behind your head. And just with that pillow there, just let those arms fall open into the pillow and see what that feels like. And if that feels good, just hang out there, take as many breaths as you want, thinking about opening through your chest and collarbone. Just breathing into that nice big stretch. If you're happy with the stretch, stay here. If you feel like your body would be happier moving, we're going to push, we're going to bring our hands up so that our elbows are sort of hugging our face. And then we're going to drop that left arm down, roll over, look into that elbow, and then bring that back and bring that close. Drop that right arm down, push into that, float up, and then bring that back. Drop open, float up, and come back. Drop open, float up, and back down. Drop open, float up, and back down. One more of those to the side so we're even, and back down. Let's grab the hold behind those knees. Give yourself a little roll up to seated. Leave those feet and knees together. One last abdominal challenge here. So you're going to slide your tail away, roll your hips backwards, drawing your low back into that, and then lift yourself back up, and then roll that, slide that tail away, and lift back up. Roll back, and lift back up. One more of those, roll back, and come back up. And then go back to one side, bending your elbow, and then lift back up. Roll back to the other side, bending your elbow, lift back up. Drop back, and back up, and down, and up. One more of those, and up. And then the other side, and up. And then let's bring those bottoms of your feet together. Hold on to those, lean forward for a stretch. Feeling that nice open inner thighs, and just keep leaning there for a moment. Seeing if it feels better to lean forward with a flat back, or even take your hands behind you as you grab that stretch. Let's bring that back up. Let's go a little bit crisscross applesauce. Just swing one hand around, follow your eyes with your shoulder, taking that back behind you. And then go back and twist the other way. And then take that around and twist. And then bring that back. One last one of those around and twist. And then bring that back. And thank you everybody for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed some flowing and some moving, and we got some good stretching. And I hope to see you back next month. Take care. Bye.